Hello and welcome to God's Minute. I'm Pastor Jonathan Conrad. I'm the senior pastor at St. Paul's Lutheran Church in Wilmington, North Carolina. This week we are looking at the book of Nahum, and let's get to our reading for today. Thus says the Lord, though they are at full strength and many, they will be cut off and pass away. Though I have afflicted you, I will afflict you no more. And now I will break off his yoke from you and snap the bonds that bind you. The Lord has commanded concerning you, your name shall be perpetuated no longer. From the house of your gods I will cut off the carved image and the cast image. I will make your grave, for you are worthless. Look, on the mountains, the feet of one who brings good tidings, who proclaims peace. Celebrate your festivals, O Judah, fulfill your vows, for never again shall the wicked invade you. They are utterly cut off. So, a couple things about our reading today. First off, many years ago when I first read Nahum, I was struck with how God says, I will make your grave, for you are worthless. And for a long time, I thought he was talking to his own people. But then through research and reading other theologians, I found out that this part of our reading today, verse 14, God is actually addressing Nineveh. And that makes a lot more sense because it does address one of the reasons that God strikes back at Nineveh. Now, remember, in the story of Jonah, we know that Nineveh repented and ran towards God. But now we see that Nineveh has drawn its attention back towards other gods, false idols. And that is where God has come and punished them. So when I look at this now, I see this as a powerful message that God is giving to those who do not worship him, especially in Nineveh and with all their gods. And God calls them worthless. That's a very powerful image, and that sounds like a God you do not want to mess with. Now, luckily, we know that God finds worth in all of us, but those words really do strike a tone for Israel because it compares how God finds worth in them and God casts aside their enemies. That leads to the next point that I want to bring. In verse 15, God tells the people to please celebrate your festivals. And I was thinking about just the other day, my son Paul was sad, and I asked him why. And he said, we're not going to have Christmas this year. And I said, why, son? And he said, because of the virus. Well, my heart broke. And I said, son, we will have Christmas this year. And we are. Whether it's going to be here or we are back with family or we are at the church celebrating on Christmas Eve, we will have Christmas because the reason that we come together is to celebrate God's love for us. And even through times of a pandemic, even when times when we are apart, we know that God's love is still there and that God's promise is still being fulfilled, and we can celebrate that. And for God, what he is telling the people of Israel is that, look, right now you're not celebrating, but please celebrate. Don't forget to celebrate those festivals because you are mine and we belong to God as well. So in this tough time, remember that. Remember that we can still celebrate birthdays and anniversaries and big time holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas and recently the 4th of July. We have to find ways and avenues to stay hopeful and to find joy. And God is clearing that way for us. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you tomorrow for another edition of God's Minute. You take care and God bless.